how we can help them, right? So they're going to have needs, they're going to have objections. We've got to learn how to overcome those objections. The follow-up is huge. This is one of the things that in the beginning I didn't do properly. Okay. And once I learned the importance of the follow-up and in doing it properly, it made a huge difference in my business. Okay. Instead of closing, a lower percentage, my percentage went way up. Now we've got a lot of tools today, right? We've got calendar reminders, CRM tools, right? Where you can keep track of your leads and basically funnel them through a process, to send them a video, to invite to a webinar, to get on a three-way call, right? And you go through your checklist with each one. So follow-up is huge. This is, in our outline for network marketing, that's one of the most important stages, okay? Our fortune is in the follow-up, and this is 100% where you've got to be good at this, okay? So time management, that's another thing. Right now, I use a block schedule for my time management. Everybody's going to be different here, but you have to have a system in place for time management as well. To get up in the morning, whether you get up, you do your workout, you eat, you go for a walk, do your business, all of these different things have to have specific times where you're going to set in your mind, this is what I'm going to do, right? So, whether it's the recruiting part of it, the selling part of it, the training part of it, okay, you've got to manage that time because we are busy. I mean, there's a lot going on in life right now, and we're all really busy, okay? So, marketing and lead generation, this is huge as well, right? We're going to go through our warm leads, and then we're going to go, well, what do we do now, okay? So, what we want to learn in that time that we're working those warm leads, we want to learn how to attract and engage potential customers and team members from our cold market, right? And there's a number of different ways to do this. When we look at our online strategies, right, how many people are here on Facebook, okay, or have Instagram or have LinkedIn, okay, TikTok? I know we've got, some of our members that are doing regular TikToks. They're starting to build their presence. All right, so you're going to build your personal brand, but what's your personal brand? Well, I market for 7K metals, right? Content creation. This is, there's so many creators out there today, and there's web pages like Fiverr and these other ones where you can get people to help build these web pages for you, to help do posts on a regular basis. So you want to, in your content creation, you want to make sure you're consistent in your content creation, right? If you do 3 posts a day on a regular basis, people are going to start looking for your posts. They're going to see them on a regular basis. Leverage free tools, right? We've got live videos, stories. We've got groups that we can connect with, and it's just about meeting people, right? We're in the gold and silver market. Join some gold and silver groups on Facebook, talk to people in there, engage their posts, right? Build your presence online and then offline as well. Attend local meetings, trade shows, right? We've got a gun show coming up here. I know we've got a couple other members that are doing gun shows here coming up. There's all kinds of different trade shows where our business applies, all right? Community gatherings as well. So, these can be a number of different things in that area. So kind of look around in your area, what's going on. Don't be afraid to create an event. Find a place where you can have a meeting and then invite a bunch of people to that meeting. Host home meetings. These are awesome. I actually built a whole room here on my house specific just for that, okay? And product demonstrations. You always want to be carrying a silver eagle with you or a coin or something that you can pique people's interest in by showing them actual products. So, and when you do your home meetings, right, you can do it, think of it kind of like a Tupperware party, but with gold and silver, right? You're going to show them the autosavers. You're going to show them the bullion, the different coins you can get, the coin drops, right? Do it in a way like you would a Tupperware party or an Avon party, right? So there's a number of different strategies. Build your own. You know what your strengths are, what your positive aspect, where you excel, right? So find what works for you. I'm not a big fan of LinkedIn, but I love being able to interact with people through Facebook Messenger. Okay. Because you can not only chat with them in text, but you can actually call them or video conference with them, right? They don't have to jump on a Zoom or anything like this. And it's instant. So the next one is recruiting and team building, right? This is where you want to grow and motivate your team. So you've done your prospecting. Now you're in that closing stage. You've brought them on board, and you want to help motivate them. Okay, one of the things we talk about is getting plugged in. You want to plug into that Monday night webinar for the corporate update. You want to plug into the trainings. You want to plug into our webinars and be as active in our events as possible, right? So if we have local events in your area, plug into those. If we have the regional or the international event coming up in March in Long Beach, right? You want to plug into that. You want to be there. Our getaways as well, plug into those. You can't imagine how much you can grow your business by sitting on the beach with one of the co-founders and hanging out. Okay, this is what happens at the getaways. You get to really get time to get in a more personal relationship when it comes to business, to get more into detail, right? And so recruiting tips focus on quality over quantity. We're not trying to recruit 100 people all at once. We want to take, if we've got a name list of 100 names, we want to start and we want to work them individually. We want to build relationships with them individually. You only need 2 people to get to associate, right? So you don't want to call 100 people to get 2. You want to call three or 4 people to get 2. Call 4 or 5 people to get 4, right? I mean, we don't have to focus on numbers. You want to look for the motivated and coachable people. There's a lot of people out there that want to get into a side hustle right now, but they don't really know what to do. They've never had a home-based business. And so this is where we can really help people, right? Share the vision of 7K. Highlight the lifestyle. We're able to go on these vacations, right? Not in a flashy way, where, we've got these cars and big houses and all that. I mean, I have a very modest life. I got out of my big house. I got a tiny house now, right? We had an RV for a while. We traveled in our RV, okay? Nothing super fancy, but a lot of fun. We went to Yellowstone and up to New York to see family, to California. We actually sat on the beach in California in our RV and could see the ocean, right? Just right there from our RV spot. So this is the thing that's changed for us. We have time freedom. And so this is the lifestyle that I talk about when I talk with other people. And this opportunity we have, it provides us this opportunity to have this lifestyle. So the benefits of having the business, we talked about the benefits of having your own home-based business, the different write-offs there. Definitely get with your tax professional on what all of those benefits are, because you want to take advantage of every one of them. Now, onboarding new members. This is huge. When you bring somebody on board, you want to provide a clear guide for them, right? Show them what our system is, help them plug into our system, right? The product training, the company policies, we want to stay in compliance, what their first steps are, okay? We've got the 7 steps in the back office. We want to get them, through those. And it's okay, be on the phone with them, help walk them through literally step by step each one, right? Because when it comes to setting up the Simon wallet, things like this, we've all done that. So for our new people, we can help walk them through. Set expectations, right? Find out what their goals are, but then also, set realistic expectations, because the effort is really what it comes down to. If you want to set your goals to gold, you've got to set your effort to gold as well, okay? Now, leadership development, we don't want to do it all ourselves, right? I've seen other network marketers that got burned out because they were doing everything for their team. We want to help create leaders duplicate what we're doing so they can duplicate what they're doing, and then this process can start to mushroom underneath us without us having to do all the effort, right? So encourage independence while providing ongoing support. You're always there for your team, but you want to encourage them to go out and do some gun shows themselves, right? You go with them the first couple and then encourage them to do them on their own. If it's home meetings, the same way. Go do some home meetings with them and then encourage them to do the same with their people. Okay, so that this process duplicates down the line. Now, sales customer retention, you want to consistently drive sales and build customer loyalty. If you've got people that have been in a while and they're just getting a coin every month, but you don't really see them on webinars or not really doing much, engage them, right? Show them the new stuff we have. The mint, my mint, that's so cool, being able to build our new coins, our own coins. Make sure that they're familiar with all the different benefits, right? And this is going to help build loyalty. Okay. Selling skills, we definitely want to improve on this. There's so many different resources out there on sales. You definitely want to learn sales, right? If you go to a used car dealership and you don't know anything about sales, they're going to be able to do whatever they want when it comes to selling you a car. If you already know their game plan, when you go in there, you're going to get a whole lot better deal on the car, right? So when it comes to selling our business, it's the same way. We want to know everything there is about our business, but selling is part of that, right? Now, we don't come in with a hard sell. We're just inviting people. But it's still important. You want to learn the steps involved in sales as far as your opening, your doing your presentation, your closing, all the different things, your follow-up, right? Customer retention, right? Keep in contact with your team, okay? Even if they're just customers, make sure they're happy. Check in with them at least once a month or, every couple months at the most, right? Create a loyalty program or a subscription model where, let them know about the subscriptions we have, but then within your own team, you can do stuff too. We've seen people that have created coins to give out, for people that do different signups, things like this. Be creative with your team to create enthusiasm and give them different goals to work for, right? I love the coin idea. That was one that, I'm probably going to do myself where, you create your own coin and then that's something you give out as a prize for somebody that, like you create your own contest because 7K has their contest, but you can create your own anytime for your team. So upselling and cross-selling, you want to stay away from that. The cross-selling other networking companies, right? Introduce complementary products to increase customer value, right? So when we talk about this part of it, this is something that comes from the traditional world that we can apply to 7K, right? If you've already been a Tupperware person, right, people on your team are going to know this about you, right? If somebody on your team is an accountant, right, this is where we can take all the different things that we're good at, okay, combine them into one, where our common denominator is 7K metals, but we each come from diverse places, right? We all come from, all different walks of society, and we look at this and we can, we'll increase our customer value by sharing all these, different aspects of our life and really getting to know our customers. And what ends up being, they become our friends, okay? So set up an action plan. This is so important. It's one thing to say, okay, I want to be successful. I want to do this. But if you actually list that goal, write it down. And we can use weeks or days, right? If you want to substitute day one, right? Complete product training, create a warm list and set initial goals. You can do that, right? You can have your first check in your first week, right? So this is just kind of a guide, but you set your own time limits, right? Complete the product training, get your warm list, set your goals. You want to be contacting 10 prospects a day. Now this says 5 to 10, but in all of our trainings, Jim Rohn training, we've got all these different ones. The marble training, they tell you, take 10 pennies, put them in your pocket, and for every prospect you talk to that day, take a penny, put it in your other pocket. Okay. Do that 10 times every single day, and you're going to be successful in this business. All right. Share the opportunity and follow up. Month two, you've already built a team now. You're going to help your team to do the same thing, duplicate what we're doing here. Okay. So ongoing, attend company events, refine your skills, mentor new team members. This is, huge. And let me stop sharing here. And this is something that we can all be successful in this business, but it is going to take time. It is going to take effort. We've got to put our heart and soul into this. Like for me, I feel blessed being a part of this company for what it's done for me, for my wife, right? Not having to like the assisted living home business for her, it took a lot out of her. There was a lot involved there, and so not having that stress and that tension, I mean, it's such a different life. Being able to travel in our RV for a couple of years, that was amazing. We came back, to Phoenix to be close to the kids, where we'd probably still be in our RV. So, but I appreciate you guys taking some time here with me. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to introduce you guys to a gentleman a lot of you are familiar with. His name's Mr. Tony Hubbard. Now, Tony's been with the company since the day they opened. All right. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's got over 2 decades in the networking space. He's an executive gold here with 7K Metals. He has got the largest team within 7K Metals, and he is a servant leader. He has helped more people get one of those silver bars than anybody in the company. He has helped more people get to gold than anybody in the company. And he's here now to give us some training. You definitely want to take notes, okay, because he is one of the best in the business. I got to where I am because of Tony. He's helped me every step of the way. And I mean, he's just an amazing human being. I'm so blessed to have him as a friend, as a mentor, and as a business partner here with 7K. So, Tony, I'll let you take it away, my friend.
All right, Mr. Joseph Blatton, as always, man, I appreciate those kind words and the excellent not only presentation you bailed us out because we were having technical difficulties and as well as the training. So do me a favor, those of you that are on here today, put a 3 in the chat if you thoroughly enjoyed all the nuggets that Mr. Joseph Blatton has been sharing with you guys over the last.
Right, I shared it with you guys on a private Zoom with myself and my business partner to simply hear some information regarding a venture I'm excited about with the destabilization by BRICS nations, increase in inflation and banks closing, and this is still relevant now, right? Because it's still happening. Maybe they're not talking about BRICS, but look at what's going on with gold. Banks closing, and there's still banks closing, even more important. And it's only, and I'm only inviting a few select people to the Zoom, and it would mean the world to me to get your honest opinion. Will you do that for me? And then insert the date and time. Now what I would like to do is, there are these in here. There's a few more in here. I'm just going through them really, really fast, but okay. This is not funny. This is true. This is one of the things I say to people. Hey, I can't say too much over text. It's relevant and timely, potentially life-shifting, life-changing. You'll understand the moment you hear it, sending you the link below. And I said a lot of different things to people. I've said things like, do you have 30 minutes? I said 45 sometimes, just depending. And the other thing too, it's really important to have a conversation. And Tony and I are going to role play this real quickly about the conversation. And I have this all else fails if all else fails message. And this worked with a lot of people. And again, I'm not being funny, but it is funny, is that, hey, Tony, I want to say something real and not scripted. I know it may not be your thing. I'm not asking you to buy or join or commit to anything, but I'm asking you for a small favor, something that would really mean a lot to me personally. I'm building something that I believe in. It's new. It's outside the norm, but it matters to me. And your support by just showing up would genuinely help me. Would you come on a short Zoom just listen? No pressure, just be there for me. This has gotten more people on the Zoom than anything else I've said to people. This is like your last resort though. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I did not come out with that script by myself. That was because, again, having to have a mentor and having having to people for their efforts to come in. Like, Tony, where am I at right now? I don't even know how many invites I have, but I'm close to 20 right now for this week. Last week I got up to like 30 last week. Yeah, 30 something last week, and then I think I'm at 20 today. And that was a 2-week effort. And now, how did I do it? Well, mainly I got to know the person, right? You know, that personal declaration I told you guys about. You got to have some great. Always remember this. If you take nothing else away from me today, number one thing that you need to know is that only talk to people who wants to know more about gold and silver. So you start with the script. Hey, Tony, are you doing anything with gold and silver? And depending on what Tony says, and he's saying yes, oh, that's fantastic. Hey, I recently got into something I'm really excited about, and I'm going to send you a quick 2-minute video on it. Or, hey, I want to send you this quick 7-minute video about, I'm not asking him permission to sending it. I'm telling him. I said, hey, what's a great way to send it to you, text or email?
And see, and again, let's talk about different styles because Sally Mary tells I typically will ask, but she's more of a general than I am, so I'm more of a captain, Sally Mary's a general in the service, but again, both styles work. I mean that's my point, you learn the basics and then you do it within your personality and stuff, All right, she's used to just telling them, hey, I'm going to send you a video and stuff. I'm typically going to ask, Uh, so listen, I know you don't have a lot of time, but if I sent you a 2-minute video, would you watch it? But again, that's my style. So you learn the basics and then you do it within your own personality. But what's so important for you guys to get from the training today from Sally Mary, Eric Worre talks about in the book GoPro, uh, the things that helped him make 15 million in 25 years. He talked about 7 skill sets, not 70, not 700, 7 skill sets. If you get good at them, you'll make full-time income on a part-time basis. If you start mastering a few of them, now you're looking at 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure a year. But the third skill that he talks about is the power of inviting. He calls that the gateway skill when it comes to network marketing. Because he said at the end of the day, if you can't get people to take a look at what you're doing, I already know what your paycheck gonna look like. So you want to get real good at this particular skill set. And Sally Mary is proof positive that in this past contest, because she got so many eyes in front of it, she was able to sponsor 14, 15 people during that contest, in a very short period of time. She was able to sponsor them, but she got real good at inviting. She was very creative at inviting and getting enough people in front of it, because you get enough people in front of it and stuff. I mean, you can be god awful, but if you get enough people in front of it, you're gonna have success. So back to you, Selma.
Yeah, and that was it. Again, this was not something that I learned on my own. That's why you have to really stay close to the fire. And I know Tony, I used to complain. I'm like, Tony, you just taught that 3 weeks ago. Why are you going over that again? And you know what? That repetition is what got embedded in my head. And now it's like, oh, okay, that's what he means. Okay, that's why he did it. Because I can be such a brat, and I know it, and maybe you don't need to know that, but now you know that about me. So the important thing is that the message that needs to be repeated is because it's important. And it's so important that now I get it. So I do things in my personality because I run and operate off of the assumptive close. And part of the technique in assumptive close is, in a way, telling people what to do. Hey, Tony, I'm really excited you picked up my call. That's great. You're doing something with gold and silver. What's the best way to send you this, 2-minute video about what I'm doing right now? Is it email or text? And then, or Tony's way, if I would you, so, hey, that's great that you're doing something with gold and silver. If I send you this 2-minute video, would you watch it? And then if they say yes, what's the best way to send it to you? So, and the other thing that's really, really important is that, number one thing important is only talk to people that are interested in gold and silver. right? That's the thing. And then once that's out of the way, at least now, because I used to think that, Tony, I used to think that I needed to talk to everybody, that I needed to share the information with everybody. Well, guess what? Not everybody likes coffee. You can't talk to everybody about coffee if not everybody likes coffee. Some people like tea, some people just like plain water. So that's the thing. So now, so as far as scripts, like scripting, so the first thing was sending the 2-minute video, the 7-minute video. That's really important. And so, Tony, the script that we're gonna do right now is that I'm someone who's been very, very busy. And I have taken a look at the 2-minute video, and you're talking to me about why I need to be on the Zoom and how important it is.
Okay. All right. So my process on that part, again, because I understand it's exposure after exposure, and I'm controlling what I can control. And so after I send out, and by the way, I never send out the 2-minute. I mean, I have a conversation. Every time I'm sending out is either the 7-minute video or the Y7K, because those are the only ones I've used. Okay. Now that being said, but after I've sent out the video and I'm following up on the time that we both agreed upon, uh, if you sat beside me and I'm doing follows, I'm gonna sound like a broken record because I'm saying the same thing every time. What did you like most about what you saw? What did you like best about what you saw? And then I'm gonna be quiet. I mean, I'm not gonna assume that they like the fact it's gold and silver. I'm not gonna assume they like the fact that we have a binary. I'm not gonna assume they want to take advantage of the benefits. I'm gonna ask and I'm gonna be quiet and listen to what they say. What did you like most? What did you like best? And then my thing is that sounds like you need to get a little bit more information. Listen, I know you're very busy, but tonight at 7 o'clock Central, we're gonna have like a 30-minute overview, going to details about who we are and what we do. It's We have limited seating on that Zoom, so if I can get you on that particular Zoom tonight, would you be available? Okay, so I'm just talking about tonight.
Um,
I'm not letting them know we got 4 Zooms that take place on a weekly basis. I'm talking about tonight. If I'm talking to them at 1 or 2 o'clock during the day on the follow up, listen, sound like you need to get a little bit more information. So, and I know you're very busy, so I'm acknowledging the fact, and I'm taking away most excuses what most people have. Most people, their reason why they can't do anything because they're very busy. So I'm eliminating that right up there. Hey, I know you're very busy. But tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time, one of our top leaders is going to be giving a 30-minute overview about who we are and what we do, and a little bit more into detail. It's limited seating on there, but if I can get you on that particular Zoom, which you'll be free tonight at 7 o'clock, and I'm gonna be quiet because again, I'm getting them on there. I'm not telling them, hey, you can get on at any given time because I'm showing value. Again, I got the gold brick. I know what this business can do for you. So I'm letting them know, hey, if you're free, I would love for you to see the information that has already changed hundreds of thousands of lives for the better. Tyler,
I love that. That was one of the lessons I had to learn the hard way is to be quiet because I'm so excited to share the information. I want to give all of the information I know, and you have no idea so imagine a little puppy that's excited and waggling and just want to come up to people and just lick everybody. Well, Tony literally had to put a leash and kind of pull it back a little bit. And I mean, that's metaphorically speaking, right? Metaphorically speaking, because I was so excited. All I want to do is jump on people and just give them all the information. And then when I saw what he's doing and I learned how to modulate that and I learned to energy match people. And so when I go on gun shows and I see people do it, I've learned how to and I saw what he saw in me where I was oversharing. And I noticed the difference when you share enough to keep people curious, right? People are thirsty for information. They're thirsty for information. And so one of the ways that you could do it is that if you guzzle gallons of water in their face. They're not going to hold on to. Think about this is terrible, Tony, but think about waterboarding. Are you actually really drinking when you're being fed water on your face as fast as you can? No, you're not. It's literally like waterboarding. You're literally pouring water at someone's face and they're like, they can't breathe, right? So you have to pace yourself, take a step back, breathe. And if they leave in the moment of you trying to collect yourself, that's not your person. Let them go. Because like Tony says, take that as a no. So that means it's helping build you. It's teaching you how to do it. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's gone through this, Tony. I can't be. I can't be the only one that's overexcited about 7K and overshared the heck out of 7K, right? I can't be. There's no way. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to get a volunteer in the group. Like, give us a scenario, in your, like, tell us what you've been doing. And perhaps we can give you a feedback. Tony is here, and Tony is the best person to give feedback. And then if you want to role play with me, I'm more than happy. If you want to role play with Tony, that's great too. So I'd like for take this opportunity, and plus it's safe. It's safe here. No one's here to judge you. We're just here to help each other. We're just here to help each other. So I would like Teresa, I love what everything that you have been writing in the chat. Would
Yeah.
you be able and willing to role play with us, see what you've been doing and how you've been able to,
And
invite
so
and
let me say this before we start the role play. One of the things I found to be true when I did this in my first network marketing company, my second company, when I did it in traditional sales, I was on the sales team and we would do role play. What I found to be true, and that's why I encourage each and every one of you guys to do role play whenever you can on Zooms and stuff like this. Because what I found to be true, the role playing was actually harder than when I had the actual experience, when I went out on my own. And once I overcame my fear doing a role play as far as what I'm saying was wrong and everything else, when I got a chance to get in front of a prospect and stuff, it was a lot easier. It was a lot simpler. And it was a lot less, I was a lot less nervous when I got in front of that prospect because I had role play with someone else before that. So if you want to get all the nervousness out of you, here's the time to do that in a very safe place. All right. So Teresa, you want to ask? We're gonna ask to unmute you, and let's talk about because she's always putting me in front of prospects and things of that nature. Okay. 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 Okay, no, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Again, but one of the things I want each of you to take away from today is that my daddy used to say it like this: "There's more than one way to skin a cat." Okay, that's what he would say, and basically what he was saying is that there are several different ways that basically doing the same thing that work, and so that's why I always encourage entrepreneurs when it comes to learning different skills, learn the basics, and then do it within your personality and stuff. And so that's a great deal. I mean, Teresa, a script. I personally I hate scripts, be honest with you, but I'll learn the gist of it. And one of the things you'll find to be true when you're around professionals that are building and you see them peeking into things, one of the things you'll find to be true, all they're doing is having a conversation. But they're basically they've gotten a script and they've had it in their own words. So when you see a professional doing a presentation or doing a peak interest or whatever, a follow up, they just having a conversation. I mean, that person they don't think they're being peaked. They don't think they're being uh sold or whatever the case may be because you're just having a conversation with them. And you're interested instead of being Mr. or Mrs. Interesting. So back to you. So what is your challenge on the follow up? And we're gonna wrap it up with that. What is your challenge when it comes to follow? Okay. So you want an answer on how you can become better with your follow ups? Okay. The best way to become better with your follow-up, again, to schedule it based upon your schedule and their schedule. And make sure you use, you guys have heard me teach it many times, and it's something I learned from one of my $1 million mentors. Make sure that all of your conversation in this prospecting, you're using the formula BAM FAM, the acronym BAM FAM, BAM FAM. And that stands for book a meeting from a meeting. The reason why I have very little challenges when it comes to follow up, uh, from the time I pique that interest, from the time I follow up, we do not get off the phone until we've already scheduled the next meeting. So I'm not leaving my business to chance. I'm not leaving my business to happenstance. I mean, I've already, we've already booked a time that we're going to follow up. So now I'm not chasing you. When I call you at 2 o'clock tomorrow, it's because you and I have agreed for us to have our next conversation at 2 o'clock tomorrow after you watch the video. Okay, so now I'm not chasing you. Now, I mean, I don't, if you don't answer, I got to make sure I do my part. So now, if you don't answer the phone and stuff, then that's on you, because I've done my part. I make sure I'm remaining a person of integrity and character, and I'm doing my part. And if you don't answer the phone, because I'm gonna leave a message every time and stuff, then and if you've been exposed to something, now uh, the clock starts running as far as how many times I'm going to follow up with you after what we initially agreed upon. Because, and again, I'll leave this with you guys. Uh, my follow up, if we agreed on a time and I call you at that time and I don't hear from you and I tell you, give me a call back, and when you get the message and I don't hear from you, then they're going to get two more calls, and that third call is going to be a goodbye call. Okay, and let me share that with you guys. So let's just say I've piqued Sally Mary's interest. Uh, she's curious, about it, and I've sent her the video, and I'm following up with her. Okay, and I've already established we're going to talk today at 2 o'clock, and she does not answer. But I can look in my back office and I see she's watched the video several times. Okay, so the first call, and if I get a voicemail, hey Sally, this is Tony Hubbard. I'm following up with you as I promised at 2 o'clock today. Hopefully everything is well. When you get a chance, give me a call back at 281-850-5435. Boom. All right. So let's just say I don't hear from Sally Mary at all that day. Okay. I'm giving it 48 hours. Okay. Plenty enough time for Sally Mary to remember whatever she forgot or whatever, and for her to call me back. Okay, so let's just say I called on today, got a voice message. We had agreed to talk after she watched the video. She's already watched the video. Then 48 hours later, so again on Monday, Sally Mary gets her next call. Hey Sally, this is Tony again, following up with you. Hopefully everything is well. I left you a message on Saturday as I promised. I know you're busy, so when you get a chance, give me a call back. My number is 281-850-5435. Boom. What if I don't hear from Sally Mary again? Again, 48 hours. Okay, 48 hours. So now on Wednesday, Sally Mary is getting a goodbye call. Okay, because Sally Mary got to understand I'm running a business, a successful business, and I got no time to chase anybody. I'm not chasing anybody. I'm doing what myself and Sally Mary have both agreed upon. So when I call her on Wednesday, hey, Sally Mary, this is Tony Hubbard again. I'm following up with you as I promised. I've actually left you a couple of messages over the last few days. Hopefully you received them. But I want you to understand, Sally, that if I don't hear back from you, this is the last time I'm following up concerning this conversation. And whether we do business or not, Sally Mary, I wish you much success in all your future endeavors. Again, my number is 281-850-5435. And it's over with, okay? Now, I've had several times when I leave that goodbye message, they call me and say, hey, man, I went out of town. Something happened in the family. Hey, I'm really interested. I really want to, sit down with you or whatever. But most of the time, they on the other end of that phone breathing a sigh of relief because they didn't have enough courage to say, "Hey, it's not for me," and I'm cool either way on that. But that person does know, hey, Sally Mary is serious about her business. Tony's serious about his business because he followed up and he left me a goodbye card. Okay, so I'm Sally Mary goes from the top of the list to the bottom of the list, and she may get a phone call 6 months from now. If it come to mind, she may get a phone call a year from now. All right. But again, that has worked like wonders whenever that situation arises. Nowadays, it happens very rarely, but when it does happen, I'm sharing with you guys a system I learned from one of my $1 million mentors. All right, Sally Mary, you got anything to say, or Teresa, before we wrap it up? Uh, when I book another meeting, York, let's just say, and I'll walk you guys through this. Typically, when I'm piquing interest, I'm doing that verbally. I met them or whatever, and I say, listen, I don't have a lot of time to go into detail, but if I send you a video, what you watching? Okay, so that starts the dance. Okay, that's the first exposure. And then they say, yeah, I can watch. And I say, so if I call you tomorrow, you would have watched it for sure. Great. What's a good time for me to call you tomorrow? Is this the right number? Okay, great. Let's talk tomorrow at 1 o'clock after you get out of church. Okay, great. Okay, so that's the initial meeting. Okay, and then after we talk on that one, then my second exposure that I'm going to give them is going to be a live call because they've already seen the preview. Now it's time for them to see the movie. They've qualified to see the movie. Okay, and that next deal is going to be based upon the schedule. Monday to Wednesday or Saturday. Then I'm inviting them to that, and then when I invite them to that presentation, they say, okay, I'm going to be on there. We've already established that 30 minutes after the presentation, we're going to have our next call. Okay. All right. And typically after the second exposure, that's when I'm taking their pulse. That's when I'm finding out where they are on the decision process. I may say something, I say, hey, York, typically when people have watched a presentation, a live presentation, as far as coming on board, they fall on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 meaning I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to do this. 1 meaning it's probably not going to be for me. Right now, York, where do you see yourself? Okay. Because now I want to find out, what's my next move, but I'm not going to leave it to chance. I'm going to make my next move based upon what that person says. If they're a 7 to a 10, what I found to be true, that means they typically have 1 or 2 questions and they're ready to get started. If they're 6 or less, that means they're going to need at least 1 more exposure. And so I always focus on making the next exposure bigger than the last one. Okay, I hope that helps. Does anybody got any question about what I just shared?
Nice. Nice. I will tell you guys 3 things. One, I did read scripts until like Tony said, it became my brain memorized it. Right. Because I was right, because the exposure. And then the second thing is, time blocking. It helps for you to write it down, to actually have a planner. It's okay because I have issues with information that's too much sometimes in my brain, or like I have things that interrupt me in my flow. I have a section called brain dump in my planner, and I write that stuff down on there. And so these are the different planners that I use. Right. I'll work on getting this brushed up so that everyone can have access to it, so that they can see it. And then the other thing too is the when you set a time block, like make sure it's time that you're available, right? It's time that you can do it. And so when you're giving people options on following up with them, make sure it's within the time that you are available. And you tell them, hey, Teresa, I'm available Wednesday at after 5 and Thursday after 4. When is the best time to reach out with you? Because, and plus also, there is such a thing as paralysis analysis. When you give people too many options, they don't make a decision. So you want to limit that as much as possible. The paralysis analysis, you give too much information, you know, it's kind of like that waterboarding thing that I said earlier. And then the final thing that I want to share with you guys is that it took time for me to get those people. It really did. It wasn't something that I decided, oh, okay, I'm gonna win. No, I did put a pressure on people. And the other thing too is, and this is when all else fail, right? If someone still can't make it during that time, something that the company is advocating for is push here, you know, push play and walk away. So you literally, but don't walk away, where you will set a Zoom that best meets your time and their time, and you watch the video together. Tony, can you attest to this? And that's my final, and I'm sending it back to you because I know there are people in the organizations that's literally, because I've done that at least 5 times where I sat a schedule with someone during the time that they're available and did a Zoom with them. With that said, thank you guys for listening, and I'm passing this back to Tony. And remember, you know, Tony is an overnight success. It only took him 20 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every last one of us, that overnight success took many, many, many years. Okay. All right. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, looking at the report today, because you know, for those of you who may not know, that the cutoff for commissions every week is Saturday midnight Mountain Time. So looking at the report this morning, there are thousands of you that with a little bit more push, you can make that extra 250 this week, an extra 500, an extra couple thousand, just a little bit more push. So I'll be available over the next several hours for 3-way calls, whatever the case may be. But let's definitely stretch and let's finish strong. And so I want to share with you guys one of my favorite motivational quotes, and we're going to end it today on this. There's nothing to fear. You're as good as the best, as strong as the mightiest too. You can pass any battle or any test because there's no one just like you. There's only one you in the world today, so no one else you'll see can do your work in a justifying way. You're the only you'll be. So face the world and all life is yours to conquer and love and live. And you'll find the happiness that endures in just the measure you give. There's nothing too good for you to possess, nor heights where you cannot go. Your power is more than belief or guess. It is something you have to know. There's nothing to fear. You can and you will because you're the invincible you. So set your foot on the highest hill. There's nothing you cannot do. Ladies and gentlemen, I am more convinced than now that it is a stone cold fact. In 7K metals, we have a better way. Now let's go out there and tell the world. Everyone have a great day. God bless and take care.